Session begin. So the first thing I'm getting is like father, like there's a fatherly figure here. He's like, I'm here. But it feels like there's two coming in, like a father figure and a stepfather, like a, not stepfather, but like another father up, like so two at the same time. Let me just get into more details, because I usually get clusters of information. One of them is coming in saying heart or chest area, like I can't breathe, I can feel it, like it's sitting on my chest, like I can't breathe. There's something about 3 or 4. Was it like 3 or 4 days, like that person before that they passed away, or something like 3 or 4, like were they sick for 3 or 4 weeks, days, or something?
Yeah.
Okay, what does the 3 or 4 mean to you?
Days, within days.
Okay, like in the hospital, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's going to be only stuff that you're going to know. Okay. Is there like an M in that person's name, or either the other person or not?
Yeah.
Okay, first the last name?
Middle initial.
Okay. I'm getting like this is more, I mean, I know they're both fatherly figures, but you're going to have to maybe, unless they tell me identify it, because I won't put it in unless I know it, but I'm hearing like, he said goodbye, so I'm not sure if there was a chance to say goodbye or not, but he's like, goodbye. Does this make sense? Which one is it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You had a chance to say goodbye, or you didn't?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm also getting a lot of pressure on his head too. So was there anything going on with his head at the time? Or did he have some other health, head issues prior to like the heart going on, like migraines or dementia or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Could have also been like something he was experiencing that you would not know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's definitely cardiac related, sometimes there's a headache that comes along with it, but you wouldn't know that unless you were told.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I want to stay. He was definitely not ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay. And I don't feel like he was that old. He wasn't that old. So I'm getting like maybe 60s, 70s. Does that make sense of the age range?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is more like dad. Is this your dad directly? Or like a fatherly figure? Which one is this, grandfather?
Grandfather.
Okay. Because he's like dad. But even though there's like getting a dad and a fatherly figure, I also want to let you know like he's looking at himself like a father. Besides being the fact that he's a grandfather, he's looking at himself like a father. So was he very, very involved like with your life? Like very, very close that, he played a big role in your life with you? Okay. Because he's looking at like, you're not my granddaughter, you're like my daughter. Like there was like that kind of tight relationship. So where was the M? Was that the same person with the M in the middle of the name?
I mean, that was his middle initial.
Okay,
so,
awesome. Okay, what was the middle name?
Marshall.
Marshall? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Sue. Okay. He's also talking about 7. Does that make any sense to you? Like, did he pass like 7 years ago? 2007, July, or the 7th of the month?
I'd have to look into that.
Okay, yeah, that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get off the top of the bat. And I want you to know he's okay. He made it all the way to the other side, okay? But it's been a while since he's been gone, correct? Because I don't feel like this is recent. He's like a while. And he's telling me that you've also seen him. You've seen him since his passing. You're pretty open. So I do feel like you see him in your mind's eye, as well as dreams. Like, so you have like more of a connection than other people do. Like some people have a higher vibrational state to get like messages when they're awake. You get your messages when you're awake. Does that make sense? So like if you are closing your eyes and you're concentrating and you're trying to meditate, or you're just sitting there and you're thinking of all of a sudden it comes in your head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's letting you know he's here. And I'm going to tell you too, he's a guide. So it's not like he's just grandfather, he's also a guide. So that means like he asked when he passed away if he could help you, if he could guide you in your life, and he does. So did you know that on your own? Did I ever? Okay.
No.
All right. So I would suggest that when you like are going through stuff in your lifetime and you need guidance and stuff, talk to him. But always make sure you protect yourself. Just say like, I ask for protection from the divine, or I connect to my grandfather and say his first and last name. And then just say, well, what do I need to do about this and that? Because he's like, you're going to get the answers. Because you see, does that make sense? When you're awake?
Mhm.
Meaning like you see within your mind's eye or out front, you also do hear. I'm hearing a clairaudient. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
do you talk to loved ones, or even if it's psychic, you're mostly more mediumship. You're really open.
Mhm.
You're really open. So that's my job as a teacher too, to let people
Right.
know. But you can get the answers too.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you get the answers too. So like you're gonna get tons of guidance. And actually I feel like you're kind of developing. Are you
Mhm.
developing your mediumship? You probably should.
Right.
I might have to have you as a student. But
Right.
anyway, but I was gonna say like you are getting messages from him too. Is there anything you want to say to him?
I just love him and miss him.
He's like, she doesn't need to say anything. She can talk to me anyway.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then there's a woman coming through also. I want to say it's like grandmother, or that's giving me a lot of pressure in the head. I feel like there's dementia or something going on with the brain, because I feel like she was trying to merge me with your grandfather, but I'm getting like a lot of pressure in my head. Like she's like, I can't think, I can't think. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And she said, I can't speak. Does that make sense to her? Like at the end of her life, was she able to speak? Or like last week or something? She's saying like last week or so, was she unable to speak? Was it getting to the point that was slowing down with the
I
process?
think so.
Okay.
I remember.
If you're not sure, you can just say not
Right,
sure,
right.
that's fine. But she's like, and she was saying like it was 5 years or something with 5. I don't know if it was like 5 where it got really, really bad, or that's where it got like tapered down to the point that like she really couldn't even, she just slowed down. She said, slow down, slow down. Is she on mom's side?
Mhm.
Because I'm hearing mom's side, mom's side. Tell her I love her. She's still here, mom's on the earth plane?
Mhm.
Because he's like, yeah, she said earth plane, she said mom's still here. So she's just doing other validations. Does a farm or horses mean anything to you when you, on your grandmother's side? Like was she raised on a farm, or did she live up nearby farms?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just seeing a lot of farm animals.
Mhm.
That won't make any sense to you. Okay. And she's saying 8. Would that make any sense to you? Like when she passed, or if it was the 8?
I'd have to look into it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you have anything specifically yourself, like with 7 or 8, like your birthday? Or anything particular with you with those dates, the 7 or the 8, that maybe that they would know, like it's your birthday month or the day of your birthday day?
No.
Okay. Now, in this case, like you always probably know, and everybody knows, like I don't want to know who you're trying to connect to.
Mhm.
But like with this, you are welcome to, like I usually let people at the end of a session, let me know if there's a particular person they want to connect to. Not the relationship to them, nothing, no other details. Is there a particular person you were hoping to reach today?
Not in general.
Okay. I don't feel like you have a lot of people that have passed away. Does that make sense? You don't have a lot of people?
A few.
A few?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're young.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like both your mom and father are still here.
Mhm.
But there is a friend, a male, that's also trying to come through the head. He said self-infliction, self-infliction. I do feel like he died of an overdose. Overdose, I'm hearing overdose. I feel really, really sick, and I feel like, I don't know if 24 would make sense. Was he 24 years old? Would he have been 24 years old, do you know? I heard 24. That might be like the day that he passed, or the age. Would it make sense to you with the 24 at all?
I'd have to look into the
Okay.
24.
Okay, no worries. He said we were close. Like I do feel like you were close friends. It wasn't like a friend of a friend, it was like a close friend. He said he's also contacted you too. And you've also spoken to him, correct? Like you through like your gifts, because you are very gifted. And he's saying 3. Would that make any sense to you? Did he pass like 3 years ago, March the 3rd? What would the 3 mean?
I think it's been 3 years.
3 years, okay, thank you. He said he loved you, and he said he actually wanted more. Does that make sense? Were you like dating, or was he, oh, you were dating?
Mhm.
Oh my God!
Mhm.
Because he he wanted more, so I don't know if there was like a separation that happened between the two of you, not just passing, but also, he wanted more, but I feel like you kind of pushed him away a little bit, not because you didn't love him, but because more of like his, because of his addiction issue, and you're like, I love you, but I also at the same time, I want to make sure that like you're okay, like I need to work on you being okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, I'm sorry for
It's
the
okay.
losses, but he's like, he really loves you, and I do feel like he tries to connect you all the time, because he loves you, and I feel like you've moved on, but you haven't moved on since his passing. Does that make sense? And there's something like you knew, you had an indication, he's saying like you had an indication whether you told him or not, or you kept it to yourself like he was gonna pass. Does that make sense? What happened at that time?
At when he passed? Or?
What the indication that you had, like he was gonna maybe possibly pass away, did you get some kind of psychic insight at all?
Yeah, so it was actually my birthday that he passed, and I texted him to see if he was around after to hang out, and he never answered, and I just had like this gut feeling like something happened, and I found out the next day exactly what happened, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You can grab a tissue if you need. Do you need
It's okay.
tissue?
No,
You're
it's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so sorry because he's like, you knew, like he knew that you knew, like after the fact, like you knew. And I do feel like you weren't together at that time. There was something like you weren't together then, but then you were like, I gotta stay in his life. I'm gonna stay in his life as a friend. I'm gonna make sure that he's okay. And so I'm gonna just pop in and, you know, stay in his life somehow so he knows that I haven't gone away. Because you were also concerned like he would do something to himself, like not just with drugs, but maybe like something else, like maybe possibly self-infliction or hang himself or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay, so you were right with that, but like I do want you to know, like when he passed away, I'm really honest when it comes to this. Like people say, like they're gonna either tell me it was on purpose, it was intentional, or it was an accident. In this case, I feel like it was mix and match because he was like, okay, I'm gonna take whatever I take, and if I'm out, I'm out.
Right.
You know, like if it happens, it happens. It wasn't like I'm going to try to kill myself, and it wasn't like it's an accident. He's like telling me it was in between. So it wasn't like, so he was like in between because he was really mixed up. He wanted to move on with his life, but at the same time, like he knew you weren't in it anymore, and he just didn't know really how to move on. So he's like, I'm sorry, because there were like 2 other times that he almost passed away. Does that make sense? So you had found him, or you had picked up things before, like that. No, you were not picked up things. You knew, like he almost passed before. So like this was like you're like in between that or something. I'm hearing like in between that. Now it's coming psychically a little bit. In between that where you were like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, I care about you, it's not like I'm being selfish, but like I can't keep going through this with you, so like we're gonna have to separate and you're gonna have to get your stuff together. And he was like trying to work on it, but then he was like, I can't. So does that make sense between like the second time you overdosed and the time that he actually passed away, that you were like, you split? Okay, I'm so sorry. Is there anything you want to know from him that you haven't received on your own, like for messages?
Just if he's okay, I guess.
I will tell you, I'm seeing like he did go all the way to the other side, which is great because it's like 3 layers, and sometimes they get stuck in the middle layer if they pass away, especially if there's an accident or an overdose or something, because they're afraid to cross. It's like, I made it, I went all the way. He goes, can you believe it? Can you effing believe it? He's like, I made it, but he said, I was just getting my life together too, because he was talking about like a new job. Does that make sense with you? Okay. So he's like, he's kind of mad, but he's like, at the same time, he's saying, I'm free. He's free because there was a lot with him. It wasn't just the drugs, but I feel like there's a background of abuse that was attached to him, that it was very hard for him to get through this lifetime. Like he needed to go. He never felt like he belonged here. Did he ever talk to you about that? Feeling like he was spiritual or like he shouldn't have been, I wouldn't say like dead, but like more like it just, he didn't feel like he fit in here in this lifetime. And so I would not be surprised if he wasn't like an earth angel, or he was some kind of a very, I feel like he was a very advanced spiritual person, meaning like it just, he lived in this lifetime. He he dealt with this lifetime, but he didn't feel comfortable here, like awkward, like he never really fit in any way. Like he was a great person. I feel like he was friendly and kind to everybody. He wasn't mean at all. But he was like almost too much, like too kind, too nice, and he was very, very sensitive with all that. Does that make sense? Okay. He's like, I love you, and I do feel like he was going to like marry you. Does that make any sense? Okay, so I see 2 rings. Were you already engaged, or were you talking about it?
No, neither.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you 2 rings, so I feel like he was thinking about asking you if you got back together again, because I feel like he was gonna say, let's get married. Like, come on, let's do this together. That was a plan. So I wanna let you know that. He's saying, will you marry me? I know it's too late, but he's like, he just wants to know if you would have. Yes. I'm going to ask them all to go back into the white light with God. Please process and continue to process your life with God if you haven't already done so. And come back and visit, see whenever you can, back and forth, back and forth. And let her know that you're around and continue to give her the messages she's already been receiving. Thank you, amen. So I'm going to end this session now. Thank you.